Ladies and gentlemen, it's been about a year. Um, it's time to do some reflecting. For if reflection is our salvation, then perhaps it's time to reflect again. On the 31st of July 2024, um, I put out a video called Start Again. In it, I express the ups and downs, the challenges that most ultra successful people that we know and love have been through. They've been through those ups and downs, they've been through those challenges, and that which separates those who do succeed ultimately from the rest is that ability to iterate, to integrate, and when all else fails, to break it all down, to start again. And so that's what we did with the channel. Basically, is realize that maybe we're doing this wrong. Maybe we're approaching this entire content creation thing wrong, which I'd been, let's say, on a bit of a hiatus for a while before that time. Last I had been active was more so, as I was getting into my personal training journey, as I was getting into rugby. Rugby was still starting out, like yeah, a lot. And it was a very, very different life that I was living back then. It was a very, very different lifestyle, you know. And what I like about the proximity between the channel in current state, so with the name JustTaSage as well, is reflective of what it became, who I became. What I love is the proximity between the channel in current state's birthday, so to speak, and my birthday. My birthday is on the 16th of August, and so it's coming up soon enough. I'm dropping this on Monday. It's Saturday now. Well, it's Sunday. It's Sunday morning. Um, and yeah, well, I love the proximity between the channel in current state and my birthday because I always get reflective, introspective around this time because it's like, well, there we go, another revolution around the sun. Um, and we take stock of what we've done, but more importantly, who we are at that time. And last time I did that, last time I took stock, and this was before the creation of the channel, because the birthday was creeping up, and it's like, man, I'm about to be 20. And most people don't really think, I believe, that much of becoming 20, if anything at all, if they think anything at all. Whereas for me, I realized throughout the year that 20 is about a third, a quarter of the life expectancy. And so about a quarter way through my life, right? That's I have only 3 quarters left. It's not a lot, you know. It's not a lot. I mean, we tend to act as if we're going to be around forever, but we're not truly. And so I think it is very important to just take stock, to take a pause and take stock of where we're at, where we're going, what we're doing. Round about this time last year, I decided to stop playing rugby. It's been about a year since I've been on a field checking a rugby ball around. And I have no intention of going back. Insane. Insane for me right now because of how much sport meant to me. I mean, it taught me everything. It introduced me to the gym. I still train till this day. I still train to this day, which in turn introduced me to the world of bodybuilding, training, this, that, the third. I realized how strong I was, compared to like the average person, especially for my body. All that stuff. Realized how quickly I can change when I put my mind to something. How much I can do, how much I can. Sport gave me everything, and so regardless of how much attention I may not pay it now, I'm forever grateful for that. But last year I made the decision, and for me, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and Alex Ramosi said something that was, most people don't give up on their dreams, but they realize that the price they would have to pay to make them come true is not worth it. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. That means you've won. You've gotten the satisfaction of of winning the game or getting through the game without necessarily having to play it, because you realize that the game itself is unnecessary and is, again, this is my personal thing. I have plenty of friends who are right now playing provincial rugby, who are right now playing for professional teams, whatever the case. People that I really, really like went to school with, grew up with, etc. Um, and that is a part of their lives, and that to them they feel is worth it. But for myself, when I sat down and had that reflection, it was not a very easy decision to make. To say, no, man, you know what? I've been feeling this way for a while, and I think it's time. I think it's time to hang the boots up. I gave my boots away actually to a friend. I gifted them to a friend, and yeah, that was about it. Not immediately, obviously, because I think a very important thing when making a decision that big is not to say I'm done forever, because that's ridiculous. Who knows what's gonna happen next year or the following year? But I can definitely say that I have no intention of going back in the near future. I have no intention of going back tomorrow. I'll tell you that for sure. that I can guarantee you. I have no intention of going back in the next month, next 6 months. You know, it's like, what's going to happen next year? It's like, I don't know. Judging by my current trajectory, do I think that I will ever go back? No. Again, it just the ROI doesn't make sense for me, especially when you take into account what it is that I'm gifted with, particularly. I think it's very important as well to realize and take stock of the things that you are exceptionally gifted at. You know, I'll give you an example now. I've always been someone who is particularly gifted. When I say particularly gifted, I don't mean particularly gifted everything. I mean I'm gifted in particular, meaning in math overall, I do all right. But there's certain things within math that I'm untouchable. Certain concepts within algebra that I'm untouchable. There's certain Euclidean geometry untouchable. When I say untouchable, I mean the best at school, period. In certain, just the certain niches that I, and so even now, after school, I'm in business, but there are many things that come with it. It's very general studies that we do. So you may do finance, you may do, whatever the case. And within those things, you'll find that there are things that you're gifted at. And I think it's very important to take stock. So last year was taking stock in terms of, okay, I do have these physical gifts, but what am I really, really uh, gonna be able to compete with the best of them? Because I don't, in my mind, I'm always the best. I don't put work in to be second best. I don't put work in to be a runner up, to be within the, like if I was playing rugby, I wouldn't just want to be a springbok. I'd want to make a conversation. I want to put myself in the conversation as one of the greatest to ever play the game. I want to put myself in that conversation. Now, is that realistic? Is that, well, go fly kite? if, if you're so concerned about realism, then the ceiling to where you think you can go is very, very low. And that's a very dangerous thing to have, is a ceiling to where you think you can go. Because that's the number one thing that will limit you. Like, if your mind breaks, then how do you think the body is going to do anything if the mind's broken? And so ultimately, look at that, take stock, and I'm like, I don't think that's it. I'm like, man, but I'm really, really gifted intellectually in certain particular ways. Like I said, there's certain subjects, man. Electrical. I can't be for mechanical, engineering, and them thing there. Like, obviously, I have the mind to get into those things and do well. Say, for example, in the theory parts and this and that, but actually going into it, it's not an interest of mine. And it's a blessing and a curse, because I honestly get in trouble all the time with family members, because I really, when I tell you I don't care about certain things, or I can be very nonchalant towards certain things, or I can just not care. And disease, like, I don't do it to myself, and I'm not trying to be, any sort of way, but I just genuinely, like, that thing you told me to do 2 months ago it didn't cross my mind in the past 2 months. It crossed my mind when you told me to do it. It just crossed my mind now when you just said that I didn't do it 2 months ago. Those are the only two. And then after this conversation, I'm not going to think of it again. I'm going to be thinking about other things, things that interest me. And so it's a blessing and a curse. But I think we should take stock of the things that we were particularly gifted in, you know? And so me noticing at a young age, well, okay, no, you know what, literature, okay, English, I'm untouchable. I'm the best. Period. Okay, within English, writing, I'm the best. You know, poems, the best. This, the best. That, the best. Comprehension, I'm the best. Like insight, I'm the best. There are these certain things that you realize that, oh, okay, no, you know what, I actually wrote this thing, and there are a lot of people who are a lot smarter than I. They're doing better in school than I am. But I wrote this thing and it's getting moderated at a national level. And they say it's because I have an insight that is very, not like beyond rare for my age. And okay, now this thing, it moderated provincial, it went national. Okay, there's something there, man. There's something about this mind that is at an international level. Whereas this strength, this provincial level, 100,000%, national level even. But can I compete internationally and be remembered as one of the best ever in this? I don't know. Current state, not even didn't think so, but this is not as developed as this. This is already there, and I don't even pay attention to this. I'm giving my everything to this. I don't even pay attention to this, and yet, like that thing that I'm talking about that I've been nationally known, I written it that morning, the morning of the speech being performed. I wrote it that morning, and I skimmed over it a couple of times. Went, didn't even perform. I read it off the piece of paper basically, and that is the thing. No changes, no edits, nothing. That ends up nationally moderated. They increase the marks across the board. And so what I'm trying to say is you need to be aware and take stock of the thing that you're good at, that you're particularly gifted at. You may have multiple gifts, but there will always be that one blistering thing that shines through as, man, this is my gift. This is really, really something that I've been blessed with. It's like, okay, now let me run with that. And so this is what the journey of building a personal brand has represented for me, is taking stock first and foremost, sharing the tools that I use to take stock, sharing the journey within itself, and also sharing this gift with the world. Because the things that I say, or the things that I notice, the things that I pick up that are useful to me, that stick out to me. For example, like I always type out on my X just simple things that they just stick out to me. Commitment is the elimination of alternatives. Commitment is I'm going to stay true to what I said I would do long after the moon that I said it is left. You have to take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime within the lifetime of the opportunity. Consistency, consistently and generously investing in relationships, longevity, and like this, just certain little. Those are things that stick out to me that wouldn't stick out to someone else, and that's what I'm sharing with the world. And it all stems from what? From that language. I'm right now, current state, the absolute best within the subject of business, the subject of accounting. I may also be the best in that. I am the best in that, but I'm still not as good at that as I am. So again, it's finding those things. So it's like, okay, that's my shining light. Okay, let me go towards the light. You know, let me go towards the light. And I think that is ultimately what I want to leave you with today. Is just go towards the light. Take stock of take stock of who you are. Take stock of what you've been gifted with, and just run towards that light, whatever it may be. You know, and yeah, you're not going to be perfect along the way, man. You're going to mess it up, and you're not going to be as good as you'd like to be at times. You're not going to develop as quickly as you want to develop. Things are not going to happen as quickly as you want them to happen. You know, this channel, the first 4 months I did 100 subscribers a month. I'm at, which is 400 if you did that math. I'm at 500 and something now, 520 something, which means in my mind at that time it could have been, oh, I'm going to do 100 subscribers a month up until in X amount of years I get to 100,000 and then I'm set. That could have been the mental math at that time, only to realize that things happen when they're meant to happen, you know, not necessarily when you want them to happen, because there's a lot of getting better that you need to do. And so I think you improve very rapidly in the beginning of whatever endeavor. And then the difference between being someone who's proficient at doing something and being a master, that is a very big gap. Being like the gap from someone who doesn't know anything to proficient is about this wide. The gap from proficient to mastery is this wide. It's out of the frame. And so from here to here is when you make that rapid progress and that rapid in whatever. Say you learn to play guitar, that those first couple of days when you learn to hit those couple of strings and like, oh, I'm making sounds. Going from that to Led Zeppelin is a hop, skip, and a jump, let me tell you. And so it is about walking towards those things where you just put your hands on the strings of the guitar and you just start playing. You know, you put your hands on the keys of the piano, and something within you, something speaks through you, something manifests itself through you. You know, and these gifts, as far as my understanding, are not just limited to you, in terms of you specifically, the body, the soul, the mind that is walking through the earth now, but some of it is genetic, some of it's hereditary. You know, I've been a leader in all situations my whole life, and I've been the only thing that's standing between myself and being in those huge leadership roles. I'll tell you a story that I never told. I never even told my parents this, but so I go to prefect camp. Um, this is grade 7, grade 6, end of grade 6, going into grade 7. I go into prefect camp, and I'm just a natural born leader. I get in there. I'm working well with people. This, that, the third. And I not only was in strong considerations, but was in a position where conversations had been had, and I was on trajectory, on course, to be head boy in my primary school. And it ends up not happening for me because of stupid decisions and stupid mistakes that I'd made at that time. And what I did ended up costing me that, which would have been a stepping stone to a certain life. Um, but I thank God that it didn't, because I needed to learn those lessons there and then about who you surround yourself with, about who you're friends with, which how you allow people to influence you, because that ultimately informed the person that I am today. That people talk of as, man, you're so selective with this, you're so wise when it comes to that, and it's like, it's because I've been burnt before, man, in a very real way, in a way that realistically changed my life, you know. And that, I'm sure it's scarred me, scorned me in some way, shape, or form. That led to a negative spiral for a while. That along with a lot of other things, but eventually we snap out of it, and we are in the position that we are in now, where we are in tertiary education. We are a leader in not only our group, but the next group over, which is something that I don't know. I don't know if that's a common thing that happens a lot, or if I'm the first. I've done things like go from fourth team to first team, as a forward playing wing first. I've done those things, which I don't know if I'm the first of that school, first of my creed, first of whatever. Definitely the first in my family to play rugby. I'll tell you that much. And all of that triumph was informed or rooted from all the disaster that I had to go through, rooted from all the pain. And so I'll end it like this. Be thankful for sunshine, for rain, for joy and pain, because all these things inform who we become and what we see and how we see ourselves as we take stock. And so take stock of who you are, realize the things that are the shining gifts that you're given by God. And my advice personally, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, right? But I will tell you how I prefer to live mine, and how I would advise you if you'd asked me on how to live yours. My advice: sprint. Sprint towards that light. If the thing that you want to do serves you, serves your family, serves your community, and serves the God you serve, the God you pray to, then do it. Run. Go. Please do hit that subscribe button if you did in fact enjoy the video. Thank you for watching. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.